Okay, so where we left off last time, we were taking a look at how we collaborate these projects to the ACC, and now I want to talk a little bit more about setting up this coordination file, because right now it's just an empty file, that file that we prefer, that we've got set up, that has all our bells and whistles to it. But right now, one of the things I'm going to want to do is actually establish this grid in this file. So I can do the grid right here from the plan. That's great. I'm going to go to my work sets, make sure that I've got that set to shared levels and grids, just because everything that I create from now on is going to go onto that work set. So we might as well do that first. Now I'm going to go to my Collaborate tab and click on Copy Monitor and say Select Link. And it's asking me basically to select a link, so I'm going to grab this architecture file that I've got loaded in here, and if I click on options, it's going to bring up this dialog box here. So right now I'm only focusing on these two categories. So for levels, it's saying you're going to have these levels in your link. What do you want to use? Well, we can take a look. We've only got two options here, so I'm going to stick with this top bubble for all of them. And basically what that's saying is no matter what family or what family type we use here, we're going to replace it with this level type. Okay, so there's some other options down here like offsets. This is more of a tool, say, for structural engineers, where they're wanting to create a level at a given elevation below or above that which is defined by the architect. You can see some options here. Reuse levels with the same name. This one is hard to explain, but it's essentially if you had one shared level in this file, but we're bringing in 3 other architectural models and they all have the same level 3. Do I actually want to copy that 3 times? No, right? Or yes. So in this situation, we're going to move over here, keep going to grids, and the same thing applies. We've got some options at the below to add suffix and prefix, and we'll hit OK on that. And then now if we switch over to copy, we'll want to click on multiple, and that allows us to select all of these grids at once. So I'm just going to make a big sweeping selection around the whole thing. And before I do that, you'll notice that I have a bunch of walls actually selected, so that's not what I want to bring into this selection right now. I'm going to go to the filter and take those walls out and then say finish, and I should see a bunch of heart line icons here, and that's basically telling me, okay, great, you've created these 49 grids, let's move on, right? So the next thing would be levels, and I'm just going to hit finish on that. So now when you see I scroll over these guys, you can see them pre-selecting and I actually have the grids in place. But to do the levels, I need to be in a different view type. So you might have noticed that this section here is red. That section is red because it's a specific type, and I'm going to make another one of those that just goes right down the corridor here. So click on the section tool, and before drawing it, I'm actually pulling that from the list of section types available, and we'll just make that right here, and I'll draw the whole way through the building. And we click on that. Now that gives me a pretty good indication as to where all these levels are, and if we put our scope box to what we defined in the last video, should tighten that up a little bit. Now here's a bunch of levels that are in my project. Here's are the ones that are linked. Now what I could do is keep the level 1 that I already have here. It may already be, they're already coplanar, right? So I could just use this guy to move up level 2 here. I'll use my align tool. Doesn't seem to want to go up there. Oh, that's possibly because it's pinned. Yeah, okay. So let's just grab these 2 and unpin them, and let's try that again. And I've got this roof level here as well. Is there a corresponding roof? Same, level 7. So let's use that for this one. Okay, so I have a roof which is currently set at level 7. I've got level 7, 8, and 6. I'm going to go ahead and copy the rest of these except for level 7 and level 1 because I've already got that. It doesn't seem like we have a basement, but I am going to leave that footing in there because we will have a foundation. So let's go back to collaborate, copy monitor, we'll say select link again, and then I'm just going to simply go back to copy, multiple, and then again I'm selecting just the ones that are in between the roof and level 1. Actually, I don't need level 2 either. Now this makes me aware of something that I should mention to you guys. If you didn't notice, okay, when I hover over the level line here within the scope box, it pre-selects. When I hover over here, it doesn't. So the same thing applied when I was trying to deselect it. If I hold my control key and try to add this over here, it's not working. But if I click there, it adds it to the mix. So now I'm holding shift to get rid of it, and notice that it won't select or it won't engage on the right side of the scope box. So click there, and those are the levels that I need. So I'll hit finish. We should see the heartline monitors come back up. Now this is interesting too. So over in the architecture file, it probably copied this in, and now I've got 2 families that are the same here. So why don't we talk about how to address that challenge? In my level, if I click on edit type, you can see there's a symbol type here that now says LS level head top bubble. Okay, this new one we don't really want in the project, but if I just delete this right now from the browser, I may actually be getting rid of something that I don't want. Okay, so I have to kind of take a look and see that this come in and it's in use. And if you go to your annotation symbols and you find that, let's see, what was it again here? LS level head top bubble. Okay, so that's my family name. LS level head top bubble. Now there's the one that came in from the copy monitor, right? So let's just finish that off. That way we have the levels in here. And if I just take that and delete that altogether, it says, and its instances, one dependent type will be modified. Level 1/4 inch. Like, so I'm not really using that one. Okay, well let's just see what happens. If I was to go to this level here and change it to the 1/4 inch head, what is in there? Still reverts back. 1/4 inch head LS. Now that one actually doesn't have a level head. Okay, so if we were to hide our link altogether, you see a level type that has a none in their symbol. So we need to switch that back. But really what I want is all of these level types to be the same. Say top bubble. Okay, so that pretty much does it. But the last thing that I want to do is if I take a look at this in 3D, I may not see my grids and levels right here, but let's just suspend this view template. And bring up our annotation categories. So grids and levels are actually on. There's probably a view filter in here that's keeping them off. So I like to use view filters, and again, this is another feature in the Liminal Star Coordinator kit that's actually providing some what I call bells and whistles, but essentially it's some predefined intelligence that's going to help you interrogate your model or present it in a certain way. So in this situation, I actually want to turn those grids and levels on so I can see them. now I can see all the levels that I've created, but then there's these ones over here, right? So I'm just going to select one level and hit SA for select all instances, and then make sure that the scope box is set to that overall project scope that I set up in the past, and then this should make them all go to the exact same spot. So we've covered this in a previous video, but I just wanted to talk about basically the copy monitor in a little bit shorter video than what we have in the past. So that's grids and levels copy monitored from a link. The next step would be to go in and put walls in there or start to look at the columns, but that's more of an exercise for a structural engineer, so I'll leave that for another day. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or if there's anything you want to see us cover, leave that in the comments as well. If you're enjoying the content, please hit subscribe. Every little view helps. Thanks so much for watching. Bye now.